Hi, everyone, and welcome into this latest edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. I'm your beat reporter from Michigan State Spartans on SI, Aidan Champion, and fall camp is finally here. We have gotten to fall camp, and it is, while exciting, also surprising that this has snuck up. I've been saying it's going to be here before we know it, and here it is. Finally, enough chatter, enough talk, enough speculation. We can finally see what Michigan State football really is. And season starts in exactly today's, yeah, exactly 1 month. And it's football's back. Always, always an exciting time when football is back. And I hope you are excited for this season. And I know there's doubts, I know there's questions, but I really do think this will be an improved Michigan State team. I think people gotta have faith. I know you've had faith for a while, Michigan State fans. While there's, every fan base has those negative fans who maybe aren't so much negative, but more so just realistic. I think there's a lot of positive Spartan fans out there who just are truly committed to their program, love their school, and want to see it succeed and get up for it year in and year out. Not saying that those who are, more pessimistic don't feel the same way, but um, there is something to be said about being able to hang in there, especially with everything this program has gone through in recent years. But yeah, fall camp is here, and I want to cement my final predictions for the season. I I've gone back and forth about where the win total will be, and I finally want to settle on it so that I can look back and say I was right. Which, just kidding. Most likely won't happen. Because it's a pretty unpredictable season. I mean, there's some toss-up games in there. And there's a lot of teams on the schedule where you don't really know who they're going to be either. So, um, it's a tough one to gauge, but I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm kind of looking at four different quarters of the season. Um, and I think it all comes down to how well you do in each of those quarters, just like normal football game. So, first quarter, first three games, all home games. That's big. You got a great opportunity to excel right out of the gate, get to a 3-0 start, just like last year, and I think they will. The toughest opponent in that stretch, of course, Boston College. I think Michigan State gets its revenge from last year. Primetime game, going to be a fun one. But I think Michigan State gets the best of Boston College. And then the second quarter, uh, I'm looking at just those two away games. I think that's going to be, in my opinion, I think that's uh, the most important stretch of the season. I know it's relatively early, but I think it will deter how well you start the season is going to dictate a lot about how this year goes because we saw this team go off the rails last year. A lot of it had to do with their schedule. Ohio State, Oregon, back to back. That hurts you big time. But uh, this stretch, these first two away games, tough opponents, two opponents that are going to be on the rise this year. I think how well you do with those two games is going to say a lot about the direction the season goes in. And I've said best case scenario I think is you split those two games. So say you start 3-0, which I'm predicting they will, go to USC, don't see them or I don't think they will beat USC in the Coliseum. I think USC is going to be a lot better. Um, and I just, yeah, there's a world where Michigan State does win. I don't see it happening. Um, I think they'll be brought back down to earth, and they'll be given the test that they need. And I think uh, um, that's why the bye week comes at a perfect point. The first bye week comes right after that USC game, so get punched in the mouth. Not saying it'll be a blowout, but you get kind of a rude awakening. Like I said, brought back down to earth, a reality check. It's your first Big Ten game. So come back home, resettle, uh, get healthy. There's injuries are a part of the game, and you'll probably have some in the early going. For Michigan State's sake, hopefully not to the extent that it had last year, but because health is going to be major, major key to this season. I think it held it back severely last year, but then you go back out to Nebraska. Nebraska, another team that I anticipate being better. I think a lot of the college football world thinks so as well. But I think Michigan State bounces back, gets back on its feet, and wins that game. I think you've got an even better shot at winning it if you manage to beat USC. Because then you're riding momentum, got the bye week, you're feeling pretty good. Um, but so I see them beating Nebraska either way will be a tough one. I'm certainly not saying that this is a write-off by any means, but I just I just see Michigan State winning this one, whether or not they beat USC. Um, so come back, homecoming, UCLA. You're 4-1, and you're feeling good. Uh, just two wins away from a bowl game, which I think is going to be the first big goal, the one goal you got to achieve this season. So you got UCLA, um, and I've been adamant that I think Michigan State wins this one. Um, I know UCLA, they're another team where it's hard to predict, hard to gauge where they're gonna go. Um, a lot of turnover there, but uh, um, I think Michigan State gets the edge with being at home. It's homecoming, noon game. They're gonna bring the energy, and they'll be back home after being on the road 2 straight games. So I think they'll be re-energized, and I got Michigan State taking that one. So then you're sitting at 5-1. Uh, this UCLA game, I would say, is the start of the third quarter of the year, which the games I group in that are UCLA, Indiana, and Michigan. So Indiana, you go back on the road, go to Bloomington. Big question with Indiana, obviously, is are they gonna continue? They're gonna carry on the momentum from last season. Surprised everyone. Came into East Lansing and just wrecked Michigan State. Um, are they gonna be back in the college football playoff? I don't anticipate them being the same team they were last year, or having the same success as last year, but I think they'll still be good, and it's gonna be tough in Bloomington to win that one, and I don't think Michigan State will. Um, just not one I see them coming out victorious in. But then come back to East Lansing and you play Michigan. You're 5-2. Haven't had luck with beat Michigan since 2021, the last time you made a bowl game. Um, Michigan's going to be tough, and I know that there's national championship aspirations again there, but I just think that Michigan State is due, even though this is expected to be a better Michigan team than last year. You know, we saw what Michigan State that they could make it competitive in Ann Arbor with a very new team last year, new regime, and and took it to Michigan, a Michigan team that went on to beat Ohio State, to beat Alabama. Um, may not have been the same Michigan team that it was when it beat those two teams when it kind of peaked at the end of the year, but still, uh, I think that was a better Michigan team than it gets credit for. So we'll probably be better this year. But Michigan State hosting and rivalries bring out the best in everyone. I think in this day in particular, it will bring out the best in Michigan State. And I got Michigan State winning that one. Um, Wolverine fans, let me hear it. Can't wait. But I'm giving you your flowers, and I think you'll be competing for a Big Ten title. I don't think Michigan State will be. I think you make the college football playoff. I think you're gonna have a great year. Hopefully that's enough to satisfy you. Probably won't be. But then so that ends that quarter. Then you got 4 games left on the schedule. Minnesota, um, you could almost call it a trap game, but considering it's in Minneapolis, may you know Minnesota may be anticipated to be the winner in that one. Although, if you got a 6-2 Michigan State team coming into to Minneapolis, riding high off a Michigan win, maybe people will feel a little different. Minnesota, uh, don't think they're going to be very good this year. Um, so I got Michigan State winning that one. Um, and you're sitting at 7-2. And then your toughest game of the year, Penn State. Fortunately for Michigan State, has a bye week before that. And so um, later in the season, again, get healthy, regroup. And you got 2 weeks to prepare for your toughest opponent, a team that, I think will win the Big Ten. I think it should. I think it will be a failure if it doesn't. It's got a dominant looking offense, dominant looking defense, returning ton of guys. Penn State should win the Big Ten, and Michigan State, I do not will think it'll have its work cut out for it against Penn State, even in East Lansing. That will be a very tough one to win. I would compare it to the 2021 season, Michigan State having a great year, but uh, Ohio State just flattened them and kind of showed that there was still good separation between Michigan State and the true contenders in the conference. So, um, Penn State wins that game 7-3. You got 2 games left on your schedule. Um, then you got Iowa. I think you're still kind of feeling the effects of the Penn State game. Not that I don't necessarily think this team won't have the ability to adjust. Um, but I think that will take a bit of a toll on you, especially late in the year, um, to to lose that game unless, Michigan State makes it close and it's a heartbreaker, but I don't see that happen. I think Penn State wins it soundly. Um, but regardless, you're going to Iowa City. No, I don't anticipate Iowa to be as good or better than last year. I think they take a step back, and I think we kind of see Iowa decline a bit here. Um, but um, but I just think it's going to be a tough environment, and there's no really rhyme or reason as to why I think Michigan State loses this game. But um, I picture a battle that comes down to the wire. I'm imagining a night game. We don't know yet, but and this one, I could see being a heartbreaker where it comes down to one final drive and a mistake is made or something happens that ultimately um, keeps you from winning the game. But um, that one kind of a toss up. I'm not super set on it, but I just at this time I'm predicting a loss. So yeah, you're after that game, you're um, you're 7-4, one game left. That's Maryland. You've got them at Ford Field, season finale. Maryland, don't think they're gonna be anything anything great this year. Um, I think Michigan State wins that game in a lopsided victory. So you close the season 8-4. And this is why I want to do this. I'm probably gonna sound hypocritical here because I have said I think 8 wins is a reach, but on further examination and really thinking hard about it, I just this is what I'm kind of seeing right now. Um, whatever bowl game you make, win or lose, an 8-win season will be a huge success. Um, some games in there that, like I said, like that Iowa one, I'm not too upset on. The Michigan game, that one, it's more of a gut feeling kind of thing. Um, obviously, Michigan can win that game. And that could be one where, um, you don't lose and you're, you end up 7-5. I, that's still a successful season to me. Even though you don't beat Michigan, that drought continues. It's like I said, still a good year. Um, those ones particularly that word's always hard for me to sound out. If I say it fast. Um, those ones are the ones I'm looking at and saying are more unpredictable. The other ones I'm pretty sure about with my opinion, but that's what I got. I'm saying an 8-win season could also be a 7-win season, but I think you definitely make a bowl game. And like I said, it's all gonna depend on how you start the year. Gotta get out of the gate strong. And if you do that, you can build a lot of momentum. Um, but yeah, fall camp. It's right here. Let me know if you hate my predictions, if you think I'm crazy. If I don't know ball, let me know. And would love to hear either way. So, hope you all are very excited about this season, and hope just in general that you're excited football's here because football season, nothing like it. Um, Gotta love it. So, thank you for tuning in as always, and you can read all of our content on Michigan State Spartans on SI, bringing you tons of daily content, keeping you in the loop. We love doing it. We hope you love reading it and following along. So, hope you're all having a great start to your week, and I will catch you next time. Thanks.